نقترب كثيرا من هذه النهاية.
شكرا جزيلا.
The footage has been broadcast all around the world. On December 14, 2008, Iraqi journalist Montazar al-Zaidi threw his shoes at former American President George Bush during his last visit to the country. This rebellious act was applauded by fellow Iraqis, other Arab countries, and even in the West. Montazar al-Zaidi became a hero in the eyes of many, but has paid a hefty price as he was sent to prison for 3 years. 9 months of this sentence was spent in a jail in Baghdad, where he claims to have been repeatedly beaten, tortured and kept in solitary confinement. Last September, he was released early for good behaviour. As he walked free, his family greeted him while the Baghdad crowds cheered. After his sentence, he was expecting a new life in a new house offered to him by his employer, Al-Baghdadiya Television, as well as gifts from political leaders. However, many of those expectations were not fulfilled. We met Montazar al-Zaidi in Geneva, where he was going to deliver a speech at a conference on investigative journalism. He now lives in both Geneva and Beirut, as he can no longer consider Iraq as his home.
Understand me?
Yes.
And they get propaganda about me.
Yeah.
And
you don't feel safe at Iraq, basically?
Yeah, I have not any security in Iraq. I'm a lone man.
Montazar al-Zaidi, thank you for talking to Euronews.
Welcome.
You said many times that your gesture was not premeditated. But when you went into that room with George W. Bush, did you know you were going to throw your shoes at him?
Yes, I know.
And do you regret it?
No, never.
No, I don't regret this because Bush has killed my people. He has killed 1 million people and made many widows and orphans. Anybody in my place would not regret it either.
Are you sorry you missed him then?
I'm very sorry.
Okay. You spent nearly a year in prison and you were tortured. Can you tell us what happened in this prison?
The first 3 days were very hard because the torture was awful and painful. They broke my nose and my heel. They also beat me on my back, on my kidneys, on my stomach and on my head.
Why? What did they want from you? What did they want to know?
They always ask me the same question. Why did I do it? Why did I attack Bush when he had freed my country?
You're a journalist, and normally journalists fight with their words or with their pens. Do you think you crossed the line there?
Many years before my act, I worked as a journalist and defended my country with my pen and my words. Did they see me when I covered the massacres in Sadr City? Did they see me when I filmed a documentary about women being raped by US soldiers and others killed along with their families? I threw my shoes because I wanted to send a message to the world, a message of peace. You don't know the half of what goes on in Iraq, how the Americans treat our people.
We had an idea of this now with the release of this video on the 5th of April. We saw this video. It shows a helicopter, an American helicopter, firing at 2 Reuters journalists and a number of Iraqi civilians. And that is really another of the signs of the handling of this war by the Americans. Do you think, though, that after all, something good might have come from this war, like democracy or like getting rid of Saddam?
اسمعي.
Listen.
كل اللي قال بوش عن الديمقراطية وعن حقوق الإنسان هو كذب.
Everything Bush has said about this war is a lie. Believe me, there is no such thing as democracy or human rights in Iraq. Take, for instance, what is happening now with the elections. It is almost as if a prisoner was tortured and given the choice of which tool to be tortured with.
وسيلة تعذيب تختارها. هو هاي المعروفة إنه هم بيناتهم يغشوا بعضهم ويكذبوا على بعضهم.
That's how it is. They are all alike.
You shouted at George Bush that your shoes were for the widows and the orphans of Iraq. Now you are starting a foundation to help the victims of the war. How is that going?
To be honest with you, many people promised me gifts when I was in prison. However, when I came out of jail, none of them kept their promises.
Okay, on the media there were reports about you getting all these wonderful exotic presents like limousines and gold and houses and job offers and even virgin brides. What did you do about the virgin brides?
Everything is liar.
Everything was a lie.
That's all lies. Even the house of al-Baghdadiya television, which I had passed on to my foundation, was taken back as a result of political pressure.
By throwing your shoes, now you are famous. You really are a hero now for the Arab world. How do you live with that?
It was not only the Arabs who were happy with my act. All over the world, people took to the streets when I was released from prison and told me that Bush had been lying.
Can I show you a video that I found on the internet and you tell me what you think about it? You are a tremendously symbolic figure now. You represent freedom for so much of the Arab world. Is somebody using you, do you think?
أكيد طبعا.
Of course, many people hide behind that symbol.
يختبئون خلف هاي الرمزية. حاول كثير أن يستغلون.
Several have even tried to buy me off.
يعني وحاولوا يشتروني.
And what's the future for you now? Are you just going to be known as the guy who threw his shoes at George W. Bush?
I
don't want people to remember me because I threw my shoes at George Bush. No, not at all. Nevertheless, I hope that the people will always remember one thing. That while Bush said the Iraqi would welcome him with roses, they actually hit him with shoes.